We are opened up to we are open to last night's homework on page 555 and 556. Zoe, why isn't your math workbook out and open? We are going to correct last night's homework. So, on page 555, we had numbers 1, 8 through 11, and that's it. Yes. So, for number 1, they did say to draw a picture or use a number line to help. You didn't have to unless you wanted to. So, for number 1, 1/2 divided by 4, we would change 4 into 4 over 1. So we would keep 1/2 the same, change our division symbol into multiplication, and 4 over 1 would become 1 over 4. Well, 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 4 is 8 for 1/8. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 1 correct. Nice work. Awesome. Then we had 8 through 11. So for number 8, we would change the whole number 2 into 2 over 1. We would keep 1/5 the same, change our division symbol into multiplication, and 2 over 1, we would write the reciprocal, which is 1 over 2. Well, 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 2 is 10 for 1/10. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 8 correct. Awesome. Then we had number 9. So number 9, we would change the whole number 4 into 4 over 1. We would keep 1/6 the same, change the division symbol into multiplication, and 4 over 1 would become the reciprocal, 1 over 4. Well, 1 times 1 is 1. 6 times 4 is 24 for 1/24. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 9 correct. Awesome, 5th grade. You're killing it. That's great. Then number 10, we would change the whole number 3 into 3 over 1. We would keep 1/4 the same, change the division symbol to multiplication, and 3 over 1, we would write the reciprocal of 1 over 3. So 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 3 is 12 for 1/12. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 10 correct. Awesome work, 5th grade. And then finally, number 11 for this page. The whole number 2, we would change that to 2 over 1. 1/8 would stay the same. We would keep it. We would change our division symbol to multiplication, and we would flip 2 over 1 to 1 over 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 2 is 16 for 1/16. Give me a thumbs up if you got number 11 correct. Give me a thumbs up if you got all the problems on the first page correct. That is fantastic, 5th grade. Way to go. Give yourself a pat on the back. You deserve it. All right, so then on page 556, we had number 12. And this one was a little tricky because I think some of you knew what they were asking, but you weren't quite sure how to get there. It said that Marge and Chemo equally shared 1/4 of a pie that was left over. So when we look over here, the black lines is what you have in your notebook. And that one slice filled in, that's 1 out of 4. So 1/4. This was the piece that they shared. What fraction of the original pie did each friend get? Use the picture to help you find the solution. Now, some of you got tripped up because I said, what fraction of the original pie? And you're thinking, well, what do they mean? Do I keep it in fourths? What am I supposed to do? I think that wording tripped up some people. What they asked is if we have 1/4 of a piece of pie and 2 people split it up, how much are they getting? So this is why I said for number 12, using split between would really help because we're splitting 1/4 of the pie between 2 people. So we would take 1/4 times 2. So that would be the same as taking 1/4 times 2 over 1. And that would get us, wait, let me think. Yeah, 1/4 times, times 2. Wait, sorry, I was saying times. That's why I got confused. 1/4 divided by 2. That's what I meant. Excuse me. You're taking 1/4 and you're splitting it between 2 people, so you divide. So 1/4 divided by 2, well, we would keep 1/4, change our division symbol to multiplication, and then our 2 over 1 would become 1 over 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 2 is 8 for 1/8 of the pie. You also could have come over here and thought, well, I need to split this in half, so I could split this whole pie in half this way and this whole pie in half this way, and suddenly all of our 1/4 pieces have been split in half. So I count, well, if one person gets like this slice, that's 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1/8. 1 out of 8 pieces of pie. How many of you at least understood what it was asking? Like you knew you were splitting up a 1/4 piece of pie between 2 people. You understood that's what was happening? Okay. Okay, good. How many of you ended up getting 1/8? How many of you ended up getting 1/8? Okay. Okay. So I think for some of us, we understood, but we weren't quite sure how to get to the answer with the word problem. Will, what's your question or comment?
I did the opposite of simplifying. I did 1/4 to 8 and I split it.
Okay, yes. Did you do that, Mackenzie? Yep. So you could recognize that 1/4 is the same as 2/8 and split that in half? Yep, definitely. Yes, Layla. Unit?
Yeah, my unit. I did
1/8 each. Well, I would ask then what? 1/8 of what each? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. And you guys, with this, since it's less than 1, they probably should have put what with their unit? Of a. 1/8 of a pie. Yes. Is that what you were going to say, Richie?
Yeah, I was going to ask you to do that.
Yes, definitely. That's probably the best way to write it, 1/8 of a pie. Okay, so I know number 12 is a little tricky. Then we had number 16. So number 16, Tom plans to replace a rectangular piece of drywall. Drywall is like the first, it's the first layer of a wall. Probably. There's paint on it. But you're right, it's drywall. Yep, exactly. It's the first layer of a wall. Find the area of the piece of drywall that Tom needs to replace. Well, what we're doing is we are combining, or we're finding the area. So we know with a rectangular, a rectangle, we take the length times the width, or the height, yes, length times width. So we already have our 2 dimensions here, 16 feet and 3/4 foot, 3/4 of a foot. So we would take 3/4 times 16. That would end up getting us, what's 16 times 3, 5th grade?
16 times 3,
48. Yes, that makes total sense. 48. We would have 48/4. So then we would need to simplify by asking how many times does 4 go into 48? Well, it goes in 12 times equally. So we would get 12. Our unit is feet, but since we're finding the area, you should have either written 12 square feet or 12 feet, and then with a little 2 for squared, because it's 2 dimensions. Remember us talking about that? Yeah. All right, overall, 1 through 5, how did you feel about your homework assignment? 1 through 5, how did you feel? 1 through 5, how did you feel? Okay. How do we feel? Awesome. Go ahead, put your hands down. Open up to the next clean page in your notebook for today's notes.